Ever wondered if your cough could become a death sentence for the whole ape family? The great apes, chimpanzees, and gorillas are some of the planet's most remarkable creatures, living in the vibrant forests of Uganda, and they share a great genetic bond with humans. Sharing genes means sharing diseases, even the deadliest ones. Recent studies in Uganda have revealed a growing tragedy about how a large number of our primate cousins have been falling victim to diseases of human origin, and unfortunately, this is pushing them closer to extinction. Now hold on. Before you picture gorillas sneezing into handkerchiefs, understand that this isn't some deliberate plot against apes. It's the unintended consequence of our interconnected world, especially the connection between humans and apes. We humans aren't just some random dudes plopped onto Earth. We're part of a wider primate family tree, and the apes are our cool cousins hanging out on the same branch. Just imagine life 25 million years ago. Back then, our family tree took a fork in the road. One path led to monkeys, our distant relatives, who swung through the trees with impressive agility. The other path? That's where things got exciting. This path led to the apes, including orangutans, gorillas, bonobos, chimps, and guess who else? Us. We share a ton of features with our ape cousins, like no tails, bigger brains buzzing with ideas, and even some similar hand gestures such as high five. In fact, chimpanzees and bonobos are our closest living relatives, sharing a whopping 98 to 99% of our DNA. That's like having the same taste in music, but cranked up to 11. Doesn't that sound fun, sharing so many things with apes? And now, let's move on to some not-so-fun stuff, human diseases and their transmission to the apes. Common human diseases like the common cold, respiratory infections, and even measles are silently waging war on gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, and bonobos. But how does this transmission take place? Well, the transmission of human diseases to the great apes occurs through both direct and indirect interactions. A common occasion, like a visit to the national parks, is exactly when phenomenon like this has the highest chance to occur, especially when visitors are not abiding by the safety guidelines. Did you know that a seemingly innocuous activity like snapping a photo too close to a gorilla or chimpanzee could spell disaster for these majestic beings? Or that the clothes you wear and the items you carry into their habitats could harbor pathogens that are deadly to them? A startling study in Uganda revealed that 58% of chimpanzees tested were carriers of drug-resistant strains of Staphylococcus aureus bacteria. This is indeed a stark indicator of the dire consequences of human-to-ape disease transmission. But the question is, how exactly do these pathogens leap from us to them, turning our common colds into their death sentences? And more importantly, what can we do to halt this silent but deadly exchange? Let's start with the bushmeat trade. The bushmeat trade is a serious problem that goes beyond just the immediate cruelty of hunting. This activity significantly impacts apes by directly reducing their populations through hunting and by introducing new diseases to which they have no immunity. This is a dual threat, and you know why? It not only leads to immediate loss of life, but also exposes surviving members of ape communities to illnesses that can cause further deaths. Sad, but true. Talking about ecotourism, it's often lauded for its conservation efforts, but is there a hidden cost? Unregulated visits and interactions with apes can lead to the transmission of diseases like the flu or the common cold. And remember, these minor annoyances to us are actually fatal to them. Furthermore, as we edge closer into their territories, we are unwittingly bringing our diseases with us. Apes exposed to contaminated water or waste from human settlements face a heightened risk of infection, a consequence of our expanding footprint. Studying science helps us learn a lot, but we have to think about how it affects the animals we study. While research on apes is often well-intentioned, it's important to balance learning more about them with protecting their health. Unfortunately, unintended interactions spell tragedy for ape populations. Every touch of our hands leaves a trail of illness and loss in its wake for our ape cousins. Once a chimpanzee or gorilla becomes unwell, there is usually little that can be done to help. Since they lack immunity to human diseases, apes face outbreaks that can decimate populations and disrupt ecosystems. This could potentially circle back to endanger human health through zoonotic diseases. Understanding the mechanisms of disease transmission is only the first step. The real challenge lies in forging a path forward that safeguards both ape populations and human communities. Monitoring illnesses, safeguarding habitats, responsible tourism, and educating communities. Can these become our tools to ensure their survival? By confronting the complexities of our interactions with the natural world, we stand a chance at reversing the tide of this crisis. The future of the great apes and our own depends on the choices we make today. But why should we strive to save apes from human-transmitted diseases? Do we have the duty to protect our fellow primate relatives, even if they're not paying rents? The answer is simply yes. The reason ranges from ethical and moral arguments to practical and even self-serving ones. Apes, like all living beings, possess intrinsic value and deserve protection, regardless of their usefulness to humans. They are intelligent and sentimental creatures with complex social lives and emotions. Allowing preventable diseases to spread from humans to great apes not only causes them unnecessary suffering, but also diminishes their vital place in our shared natural world. Moreover, as the species responsible for spreading these diseases, it's our responsibility to mitigate the harm we cause. And this goes beyond our responsibility to our own planet and extends to protecting other species with whom we share this world. After all, we're the ones who brought them to the brink of extinction in the first place. It's time to own up to our mistakes and make things right. Most importantly, apes play a crucial role in maintaining healthy ecosystems. Their loss would have cascading effects on other species and could disrupt the delicate balance of nature, ultimately impacting us as well. Healthy ape populations contribute to ecosystem services like water purification, pollination, and seed dispersal. Could their loss lead to economic and environmental consequences for humans? Well, one thing is for sure, saving apes can also protect humans. Want to know how? Many diseases can be transmitted from apes to humans, and preventing outbreaks in ape populations can help safeguard our own health. Examples include Ebola, HIV, and various respiratory illnesses. Moving on, let's not forget their role in tourism and research. Apes are important for tourism and contribute to economic benefits in many regions. Furthermore, since they share a great deal of genetic material with us, they are important subjects for scientific research. They are indeed helping us understand ourselves and the natural world better. Ultimately, the choice to save apes from human-transmitted diseases boils down to our values and priorities. Do we see other species as deserving of compassion and protection, or do we view them solely through the lens of their utility to humans? Now that we know the importance of shielding the great apes from the diseases we might unwittingly pass on to them, the question arises how to do that. The battle against reverse zoonoses, diseases transmitted from humans to animals, is multifaceted. It requires a blend of innovation, sticking to guidelines, and a holistic view of health that connects humans, apes, and our shared environment. First off, embracing a One Health approach, which includes mandatory vaccinations and testing for visitors and residents, is key. This approach not only protects us, but also the majestic beings we're so eager to observe. Do you know how technology can lend a hand in this noble cause? Technology offers a promising solution through the use of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs. By reducing the need for human presence in protected areas, UAVs play a crucial role in minimizing the risk of transmitting diseases to these vulnerable populations. And what about the One Health concept? Remember, it's not just a buzzword, rather, it's a connection between human, animal, and environmental health. Preventing new diseases and conserving primate species must pivot around this comprehensive perspective. But how do we keep an eye on environmental health? That's not so difficult. We can do that through rigorous environmental monitoring, including assessing political and social factors to prevent outbreaks and curb the spread of diseases. Could social and public policies play a role in this scenario? Indeed, public awareness and education are fundamental to these efforts. Why? Because these aspects ensure that people understand the importance of responsible wildlife interactions and adopt behaviors that minimize disease risks. Minimizing contact is the key. It is crucial to limit close contact with apes in the wild, even seemingly healthy ones. Follow the guidelines set by national parks, zoos, and research institutions. It is essential to be honest about our health status whenever we're planning a visit. Avoid stepping into their habitat when feeling unwell. And why is keeping our distance, even in face masks, vital? It underscores respect for their space and well-being, essential in curtailing the spread of infections. By following these protective measures, we not only safeguard ape populations from the diseases we carry, but also take a step forward in the quest for their conservation. Remember, the fight against ape extinction is also a fight for our own health. Zoonotic diseases like COVID-19 highlight the interconnectedness of our world. By protecting apes, we protect ourselves and future generations from emerging pandemics. Let's turn this silent war into a collaborative effort. Together, we can make efforts to help our cousins thrive, enriching our planet and reminding us of the profound kinship we share with all living beings. Let's protect Mother Nature as we listen closely to nature's speech.